Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
It was less than a week ago that the National Enquirer ran a story accusing Ted Cruz of having multiple illicit relationships. And of course, this is very important to Ted Cruz, who has presented himself as the face of God to America. That's the way Heidi Cruz, his wife, has represented the campaign. And of course, he has sought and received the backing of many important pastors across the country. That story, far from going away, is developing more details as we speak. Now today, Radar Online reports that Ted Cruz cheating scandal is exploding with a presidential hopeful named in connection with the murdered D.C. Madam's Black Book. And of course, this is someone that Alex Jones interviewed. He gave the last interview that the D.C. Madam had before she died was given to Alex Jones. She said, "I am not going to commit suicide." And shortly after that interview, she was found with bruises all over her body and hung from a shed. It did not look to us like she had been committing suicide, and nobody believed, except for those who listened to the mainstream media, that she committed suicide. Now, here's the connection with Ted Cruz. It is being reported that her former lawyer, Montgomery Blair Sibley, has filed an appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court to remove a restraining order that would allow these numbers to be released. And he says the reason he is doing it now is because time is of the essence. He said the release of these numbers are of vital importance to the election. He says time is of the essence. It is relevant to voters before they cast their ballot. And so the actual numbers that were taken from the D.C. Madam's Black Book, there was a restraining order that was put upon it, and he has in his filing before the Supreme Court said, "If I do not get the right to file my request to modify the restraining order, and if I do not get an expedited hearing, I am going to publicly release those records to see what happens." He says, if they hold me in contempt of court for violating an order they will not give me a hearing on, then I think they lose the right to enforce that order. Investigator Wayne Madsen, who was on the team of reporters who was hired by Hustler Magazine's owner Larry Flynt. And of course, remember, Larry Flynt was interested in exposing politicians in Washington, D.C., who were basically susceptible to being blackmailed, people who were presenting themselves as one thing but were actually living a different life. So Larry Flynt was doing an investigation with the D.C. Madam. And again, it was Wayne Madsen and other reporters who were taking a look at this. And as he pointed out, Wayne Madsen, who was on that team and talked to the lawyer as well as the D.C. Madam, said if Montgomery Sibley has what he says, then it has to be Cruz. Now, another investigative reporter, Dan Moldia, who was also investigating that back in 2006, said there were hundreds and hundreds of pages that were turned over. He said that he did a reverse order on those numbers to see who they were for about 800 of them. They say there were thousands, 15,000 pages, I believe, were in the, 15,000 pages of phone records. He reversed about 800 or so of those, and he said, I would have known if it had been Bernie Sanders or Donald Trump or John Kasich at the time. But see, Ted Cruz at that time was not involved in the public's eye. He was quietly working in the Bush administration. Yeah, he's never been an outsider, folks. He's always been a part of the insiders. So we're going to be following this story. And again, we will have interviews with Wayne Madsen and others on the Alex Jones radio show tomorrow. Now, moving on, it was a rough weekend for Hillary Clinton. It's not been reported widely by the mainstream media, but it started with some comments about abortion. She was asked by Chuck Todd on Meet the Press when or if an unborn child has constitutional rights, and here's what she had to say.
When or if does an unborn child have constitutional rights?
Well, under our laws currently, that is not something that exists. The unborn person doesn't have constitutional rights.
Okay, hold it right there. Hold it right there. Do you see where she stuck her foot in it? She's in big hot water with not only people who support the right to life, but with the people who support abortion. Did you hear what she just said? The unborn person. At the crux of the matter is personhood. And if she's going to say the unborn person does not have constitutional rights, that is a legal oxymoron. But she said something even before that, where she said, under our laws currently, Roe v. Wade is not a law. Roe v. Wade is a ruling by the Supreme Court. And just as Roe v. Wade is a ruling, we've had other rulings by the Supreme Court that were later ignored or reversed. We had rulings by the Supreme Court that said a runaway slave needed to be returned to their master. That was taken away, the Dred Scott. We also had, as movies came out at the turn of the century, they said First Amendment rights do not apply to movies. That was there for about 50 years before that was overturned. So we've had the Supreme Court come in and say a variety of things, but they do not amend the Constitution. The Supreme Court does not write laws. That's the fundamental fallacy here. But she steps in it when she says the unborn person. Let's go ahead with the rest of her comments because she's not done yet.
That doesn't mean that we don't do everything we possibly can in the vast majority of instances to, help a mother who is carrying a child.
Stop it right there. Stop it right there. A mother who is carrying a child. See, that is the thing that really sets them off. It's not a child, they say. It is a fetus. Let's continue on with this. She keeps calling this baby a child. Imagine.
And wants to make sure that child will be healthy, to have appropriate medical support. It doesn't mean that you don't do everything possible to try to fulfill your obligations, but it does not include sacrificing the woman's right to make decisions. And I think that's an important distinction that under Roe v. Wade we've had enshrined under our Constitution.
You had said you're for—
Stop right there. Again, Roe v. Wade did not amend the Constitution. The Supreme Court does not amend the Constitution. The Supreme Court does not write laws. And of course, she goes on to talk about the fundamental right of choice. Now, where do the Democrats believe that you should have a choice? Only if you want to terminate your child. Not how you're going to educate your child, and not in any other aspect of your life, not even about whether or not you're going to have health care insurance. You have no choice in the matter there. But of course, you have a choice as to whether or not you want to abort that child, whether or not you want to kill that child. You know, when I listened to Hillary Clinton talk here, and of course the left came back and they were complaining about her unborn person comments. The manager of Planned Parenthood Illinois Action said on Sunday that Ms. Clinton's comments undermined the cause for abortion rights. She said the comments further stigmatize abortion, she said in a tweet. She calls a fetus an unborn child and calls for later term restrictions. You know, I think back to the Christian writer C.S. Lewis. He wrote a piece called The Screwtape Letters. And in it, you had this demon writing letters to his upper devil. It was a conceit that he had set up to try to teach some truths about the Christian life to people. And in it, this imaginary thing, he has this devil who's writing to his commander demon. And it was Screwtape was the name of the guy who was trying to do the work here on earth. And he was constantly correcting him about how to do things. And when I look at this is almost like Hillary's Screwtape Letters, where the abortion rights people are telling her, no, Hillary, we don't use the term child. We don't use the term person. We don't talk about abortion. We talk about terminating fetuses. How many times have I told you? You've got to use the right language. Because that's the way they control us, by carefully constructing the language. You know, the Pentagon, when they go out and they blow up a village of innocent people with a drone strike, whether or not they got an individual that they were looking for, they kill a lot of innocent people. They don't talk about murdering innocent people, they talk about collateral damage. And when they're trying to kill individuals, they don't have an assassination list. They have a disposition matrix. It makes all the difference in the world. And I'm sure that Screwtape would explain that to Hillary. You know, we could have these Screwtape Pentagon letters where they say, no. We had a disposition matrix, and as part of executing that matrix, we had some collateral damage. Just as she says, no, we have a right to choice. We have privacy. That's a joke, isn't it? In this day and age, that the government would talk about privacy. No, the only place that you have privacy, the only place that you have choice is if you want to kill an unborn child. And that's what came out. But of course, it's not being covered that much by the mainstream media. Another thing that's not being covered much by the mainstream media is Hillary losing her cool. Imagine if this were Donald Trump. They would be all over this. But this is how Hillary Clinton reacted to somebody who is angry and challenging her on her Wall Street connections to big oil. Now, you can understand why Hillary Clinton got so upset. I don't understand why it's not an issue for the mainstream media, but clearly it hit a chord with her. Because what this lady was pointing out when she asked her this question about her involvement with Wall Street, with big oil, she was pointing out the hypocrisy of Hillary Clinton. And that's where we began the broadcast with Ted Cruz and his cheating scandal. Possibly his number is up. Well, I think her number is up as well. And her number is a very big number. And that's the number that represents the contributions from Wall Street to her campaign. But it's not just the hypocrisy at the top, the hypocrisy of the candidates. There's also the hypocrisy of the grassroots, the green grassroots. Now, our reporters are in Wisconsin. We have Rob Dew. We got a report coming up from Rob Dew, but also my son, Travis Knight, is there. He got the hypocrisy of some protesters who were using carbon fuels to protest the use of carbon fuels. Here's that clip.
So I just have a quick question.
Sure.
You guys are busing down from, I can't read it right now, but buses are one of the least efficient uses, or least efficient vehicles as far as gas mileage and the type of gas they use.
Well,
I just find it slightly ironic.
The train tickets are really expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So,
a non-oil form of transport is extremely expensive, but you're looking to get rid of oil and oil forms of transport.
Right, are you a Trump supporter here?
I'm a libertarian. I'm a libertarian.
Protesters? Well, the most important thing is that we get off fossil fuels.
And of course, it wasn't just Hillary Clinton that got triggered by a question about her hypocrisy. Rob Dew was covering some of the Donald Trump events, and of course he was talking to Trump supporters as well as Trump protesters. When he went over to talk to the Trump protesters and they saw his Hillary for Prison shirt, it triggered these feminists. Look at their reaction to his shirt.
Talk about it.
Together, Hillary.
Hillary for prison.
What do you think of that first reaction?
I do not like it, and I no longer want to talk to you.
That's okay. You don't have to. So, you're done?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I'm going home.
Keep going. Keep walking.
Keep going. Keep on walking. I'm going to stand here now.
That's a nice jacket, though.
Maybe some assholes over there want to talk to you.
Here to see what's going on with the young people. Oh, you got kicked out too.
Let me recap on you.
No.
You know what? This happened yesterday. I actually put a video up about the same thing.
Yeah. You're in our space.
Your safe space? Do you have puppies or kittens in your safe space?
Both. Both. Both.
Yeah, see, that's the correct answer. Both. Are you organizing these young kids?
Absolutely not.
She's a young kid herself.
Are you a teacher? Stop looking at me with hate.
She's a union worker.
I'm a union worker.
Okay. And are you for Hillary or for Bernie?
Hillary.
Why you think? What do you think she's done for union jobs?
I don't want to talk to you.
Okay.
Now stay with us when we come back. We're going to talk about a system that China is rolling out nationwide. A system to surveil everyone in their neighborhoods. They call it grid management. We have different names for it here in the U.S. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I'm running for president. Everyday Americans need a champion, and I want to be that champion. I'm hitting the road to earn your vote, and I hope you'll join me on this journey.
Clean, pure drinking water. You can't survive without it. But where do you get it? Alexa Pure Pro is a brand new, groundbreaking, gravity-fed water filtration system that is like no other. The Alexa Pure Pro transforms water from virtually any fresh source into clean, healthy drinking water, pairing the unprecedented superfiltration power of an all-new gravity block core with a hybrid chromatic shell. It removes up to 99.999% of impurities, including bacteria, viruses, fluoride, disinfectants, volatile organic contaminants, and hormones. Filter capacity up to 5,000 gallons. Stainless steel construction. Easy assembly. Low maintenance. Replacement filters are simple to install. And now, as part of an exclusive limited time introductory offer, you can save $20 off the retail price and get free shipping. This is a limited time offer, so order your unit today and receive free shipping and $20 off. Go to InfoWarsStore.com or call 888-253-3139.